So I'm a poor girl who grew up in Levittown, New York, in a very abusive family. I remember as a child watching a movie about a little boy who came home and showed his report card to a goldfish because his parents were too busy fighting to care. That was my childhood on a good day. My older sister Randy was brilliant, troubled, always in trouble, and always failing at school. There was no way I could come home and shine with my report card. For me, school was a safe haven. It was an escape. It was a place where I could go from where I was powerless at home to where I could create my own reality. The story of the Barat Foundation begins when my children were 8 and 4. And we were living a pretty good life. My husband and I had founded a natural food company that eventually went public. We had a beautiful house in the suburbs, complete with swimming pool and neighborhood country club, when we learned that my husband Gary was HIV positive. At this time, it was a death sentence. We were reeling. It took a few years, but eventually this virus would rob us of everything we had worked so hard to create together. We lost our house, our 401ks, most of our friends. I remember one woman screaming at me because I had let Gary enter her house and drink from a glass. We had to reinvent ourselves or perish. We sold what was left of our natural food company, and we returned to our early passions. For me, it was education. For Gary, it was art and photography.
Oh, and we want to say something. That my father is alive and well, photographing us here today. Thank you. A testament to the power of art to keep you going and fuel your passion. My mother and I stand here today as a miracle as well, because it turned out that my mother is completely immune to the HIV and AIDS virus, which saved me and my sister Ariana from contracting the virus in vitro. So, thanks, Mom. It was good of you. When I was in high school, I needed some community service to graduate. And I was listening to the radio one day. It was actually WBGO, jazz station in Newark. And I heard an announcement that volunteers were needed for Camp Viva, which is a camp up in Westchester, New York, that serves families and children that live with HIV and AIDS. I decided to go. At 17, I was the youngest volunteer at Camp Viva, and I took on the responsibility of their arts and crafts instructor. And they even let me order my own supplies. And I ordered more glitter than anyone in camp history had ever ordered. And proceeded to spend a week in Westchester, New York, putting glitter on everything with about 500 campers there. I experienced an incredibly powerful healing during that. It was through the celebration of our creations that their joy became my joy, and my joy became our joy. And in that sparkle pavilion that you could see shine from all the way across campus, we were free.
As a young woman looking for something out there, knowing that there was beauty out there, I was fortunate enough to be able to spend a year in Paris studying at the Sorbonne University, and it changed my life. So here I was, an adult needing to reinvent herself, caught in the middle of this AIDS plague. And what I thought was, if we have limited time, what I really want to do is introduce my children and other young people to the opening of mind and heart that had changed my life by living abroad. And that was the birth of the Barat Foundation. We started by bringing students from all over the country to the south of France for a month of language, culture, and art immersion. We started the Barat Foundation as a not-for-profit 501c3 so we could raise money for scholarships to take underserved children as well as wealthy ones. Most of those scholarship students wound up coming from Newark because my husband Gary was working at Integrity House creating art therapy programs for those in recovery. We named the scholarship program Newark Meets Van Gogh, and this became our model that we eventually would bring to Newark. It was a model based on experiential education, youth empowerment, that we would eventually coin into what we call exposure, experience, expression. Now that we had this learning methodology, and we wanted to bring what we had accomplished in a month to a year-round program, we needed to expand it and bring it from a handful of students in France to a much larger audience in Newark.
But how? We were used to working with anywhere between 10 to 20 students at a time, living together, creating art for the summer. So how could we go from working with a handful of students in truly one-on-one situations to many, many students? And the answer actually came through art and celebration. So now I'm in my senior year of college at Rutgers, New Brunswick, and I had just spent a year studying in France myself. And when I came back, I decided that I should take some real art classes. And I came back to New Brunswick, and I walked into the Mason Gross Arts building, and it was like walking into Alibaba's cave. I was like, are you serious? This is all here, and I find out in my last year of college? Like, that's just blasphemous. It seems insane that you would keep it hidden on this little island. How could you segregate art from the rest of the university, from the rest of the community? This art needs to go outside. People need to experience it. This town needs a parade. And my best friend Leslie said, you're right. This town needs a parade. And that's how it all began. With Leslie, my sister, a few friends, we started making these speech bubbles. This town needs a parade, and we plastered the entire city and campus with them, along with instructions on how to build a float out of a found shopping cart. On parade day, we weren't sure if it was just going to be us, which would have been cool, to march, but we showed up at the meeting point to hundreds of students in costumes, with sculptures built out of shopping carts, with bicycles, and bicycles built enormous with lights, all ready to march for art.
Okay, so now it's 2008, and the Newark Arts Council is looking for a way to promote their Open Doors Arts Festival. And 1, 2, 3, it all comes together. Let's do a parade. We had a little bit of experience doing mini parades, wish parades. At that time, we had an after-school program with students from Newark housing projects. And one of the things that we did was we went into the projects with these speech bubbles to enable the children to express their voices. And if you can see the speech bubble we have on the screen, this little boy, if he had one wish, it would be to walk outside safe. We needed a vehicle, we needed a way to go from a speech bubble to a parade. About the same time, we had gone to an art exhibit, and we had seen a sculpture, ironically enough, by a Newark artist and school teacher, Terry Bruin, called My Mother's Wings. It was an 18-inch piece. It was very simple. It was 2 flat planes notched together so it would stand. My husband and I looked at this sculpture and we said, wow, imagine if we could take 18-inch piece and we could turn it into an 8-foot piece. We found Terry Bruin. We told her our vision of creating a citywide parade, and she was thrilled based on the model that she had created. Together, we found a vendor of cardboard who could provide 8-foot sheets, donated, and that was the birth of the Animodules.
So, with humble beginnings in cardboard and glue, we put people to work, and we incorporated the students into what would become a model for civic engagement through the arts. That first year was a really magical year, as first things are, because you never know quite how they're going to be. We had put together all these Animodules, and they were beautiful. On that parade day, all of the Animodules lined up, and the Shabazz marching band showed up, an 80-person marching band, which, if anyone, all of you here from Newark have experienced the Shabazz marching band, I was like, this is what people need to think of when they think of Newark. They need to think of this marching band because they're so phenomenal. So the marching band shows up, the Animodules are lining the streets, and the police motorcade comes up because they're going to escort us. Mind you, that first year we did not have a permit to take to the streets. But when the police saw us, and they saw the students, and they saw how excited and happy everyone was, they said, we are closing down Broad Street. These kids are going to march with their art. And for the first time in Newark's history, the police closed down the streets of Newark to celebrate the young people of this city. We were making quite a splash, and we were making a lot of noise. The mayor even came out to see what all the ruckus was about. We had arrived with some glitter, cardboard, glue. We had started a parade. We had started an art form.
So fast forward a few years. My 2 daughters are young, accomplished artists. The Animodules are now made out of permanent materials, and they are totems to the communities and schools that have created them. To date, there are approximately 50 of them. They're all over Newark. They are at Central High School, East Side High School, West Side High School, Vocational High School, Technology High School, North 13th Street School, Bard Early College High School, Newark Early College High School, Yes, the Yes Center, Team Gateway, Rutgers Future Scholars, Integrity House, the Greater Newark Conservancy, and if I've omitted anyone, please excuse me. When the Newark Museum wanted to celebrate its 100th anniversary, they came to us and commissioned 10 Animodules to finish their huge celebration of their 100 years in this city. And just this past spring, we had our first commission for 2 permanent outdoor Animodules at Turtleback Zoo to grace the 2 entrances for their new sea lion exhibits, again created by an artist, in this case Dan Fenelon, working with Newark students.
This is us on Broad Street with our elephant in what is now called the Creation Nation Art and Peace Parade. Creation Nation for 2 reasons. 1, because we're celebrating the Creator in all of us. We are passionate believers that every single human being is a creator and has the ability to create. 2, because we come together as a people. We come together as a nation to support one another in our unique voices and to support the creations that we make. The freedom, the healing, the inspiration that I had felt in that Sparkle Pavilion at Camp Viva was now in Newark and on such a large scale. Our students from France, we're now part of our programs. This is Aaliyah, one of our scholarship students here in our parade. And the animodules, as my mother said, are created all across the city. And so now, here we are in a school. We kind of end our story where we began, and that's at Integrity House in Newark. So this animodule here, you may recognize from the central figure in the peace mural we made, Support and Protect Our Children, that we erected for the Dalai Lama and the Peace Summit that came to Newark a few years back. And as a side note, this peace mural was made on canvas with over 500 students in 14 schools, and it is the largest collaborative art piece in the history of the city. That's the dream, to have all the children of the city have their hands directly on the renaissance of their city. This animodule was made with young people out of incarceration that are recovering. So that's where we are today.
So the animodules are born telling the stories of Newark's children. I'm just going to share one of them that's particularly sweet. One of our kids said, "They're so thin because they have to come up through the cracks in the concrete, like a flower coming up through the crack in a sidewalk." And because they are born from the imagination of Newark's children, and because they are the work of artists, inspired artists working with communities, just this past July, the Honorable Mayor Cory Booker officially proclaimed our animodules as the official peace ambassadors of the city. From humble beginnings in cardboard and glue, we stumbled upon a model for urban revitalization and civic engagement through the arts. From a handful of students to thousands of students, from individuals to communities, we've created a model of art, of uniting communities that works. And I just want to end with a happy statistic, and that is that 100% of our children that we've taken to France have graduated high school and gone on to college. Yay! And I have, come on.
Thank you.
And those who know me best know I have a postcard from one of our scholarship students that came a little while back that I carry around with me just in case I ever forget why I do what I do. And this is what she wrote. "Dear Barats, when I was younger, I never would have thought that me, a little girl from Newark, could see the world. But after you gave me the opportunity to see France, I saw the world in a different way. I saw the world as a blank canvas for me to color with my dance, my words, my soul. Now I'm studying at Shakespeare's Globe in London and will perform on its stage. You opened a door of possibilities I never thought possible, and until this day, I see Provence as a pivotal point in my life. I could never thank you enough for what you've done for me and the rest of Newark's youth. Many thanks, Alnisa."
And like any good community organizer, I'd like to organize this community. I'm going to sing for you the theme song from the Creation Nation Parade, and at the end, there's a little call and response. Are you guys with me? Yes? All right. Okay. The Creation Nation is coming through a static station to bring together the people so pretty. We become anything we wanna be. So dream, baby, dream the life we could lead. Dream, baby, dream. That's what a king be. And just like the king, I have a dream. I have a dream. That you're going to come together with me on this one. All right? So repeat after me. We're coming together for a celebration.
We're coming together for a celebration.
To honor the power of creation.
To honor the power of creation.
That all the people are demonstrating.
All the people are demonstrating
The power of a creation nation.
the power of a creation nation.
The power of the creation nation.
Power of a creation nation.
Yeah, thank you. Join the creation nation.
Thank you.
March with us on October 20th. Thank you.